What's going through your mind as we head to the final hour?
You know, this is my 6th telethon, and I always feel a bit like this. I'm actually a little nervous. You know, I think we've had great momentum and great energy, but a lot is riding on this hour. We've not yet reached our achievement from last year, and so we really, you know, if folks have been watching the stories, have been touched by the stories, now's the time. Now that it's time to phone in or log on and make that contribution. I was chatting with a guy who, Charlie, who rode his motorcycle up from Kingston. He's actually had CHEO tattooed, the CHEO logo tattooed onto his arm.
Well,
right?
you don't have that?
Well, we can. I'll show you later. But so listen, folks, we're not asking you to get CHEO tattooed on your arm. All you got to do is call in or log on and make a donation and make a difference for the kids and families you've been hearing about. So it's
no tattoos necessary, but I'm just always struck by those stories, the small ones and the big ones.
That's a pretty big commitment, getting CHEO tattooed on your arm.
But it's almost a you know, you can talk about big corporate sort of cultural ownership of a city or of a region, and I find it challenging to find one like this, and I think this weekend that is on full display at all levels. It is a celebration, it is a chance to fundraise, it is a chance to storytell, but it's just, there are so many stories like that, whether it's someone from Kingston or someone from the Valley or someone from Ottawa.
Well, and I think the thing that's really important for people to understand is it does come down to somebody donating $50 or $100 because it all adds up, and it adds up into equipment and research and care, and you've been hearing that message from the families, and you know, I think we've heard some pretty powerful stories from families about how people giving on this weekend has helped change their lives.
And we will hear more of those stories in this final hour. CHEO's retinal imaging is crucial for doctors to get a precise image of a young patient's eye. CTV's Katie Griffin reports, when it comes to getting an upgraded model, time is of the essence.
At just 15 months old, and despite all the surgeries and procedures she's been through, Nevaeh Cole's spirit hasn't wavered.
It's been very, very stressful and worrisome right from the beginning.
Nevaeh has lost vision in one eye. Doctors at CHEO are working hard to stop vision loss in the other one.
Nevaeh has incontinentia pigmenti, and that's a genetic condition caused by a mutation in a gene that doesn't allow blood flow to pigmented cells to happen normally.
Her condition is extremely rare and also affects a patient's skin, hair, teeth, and the central nervous system.
Sometimes in smaller children, or in cases where there's disease in the back of the eyes, we can't use these instruments, and so there's special cameras that we use when children are under anesthetic that help us see right to the periphery of the retina. That's the case of the RetCam.
The RetCam provides imaging crucial to diagnosing and treating conditions like Nevaeh's. The issue, it's old and needs to be replaced with an upgraded model.
Having a new RetCam would allow us to be able to better transport that technology to use, for example, in the neonatal nursery. The resolution of the images would be far greater than it is at this point. And so those are the two major issues. And if this instrument breaks for any reason, we have no replacement.
Everything is just staying right there, and they should be going all the way out like that.
For now, Nevaeh's parents are taking it day by day and are focused on the future.
What we hope for Nevaeh is that for her to grow up to be strong and healthy. Nevaeh, come here.
Strong and healthy. We wish that for every child. Metroland Media has been a longtime supporter of the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. They tell special stories like the ones you just saw, and they also spread the word about the telethon and happenings at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. And this longtime supporter will sponsor our next Miracle Match. $10,000 Metroland Media Miracle Match. We are in now officially our last hour of the 2017 edition of our CHEO Telethon. We don't have a whole lot more of these left, I can tell you that. And in our last hour, if you're just coming in from a day in the great outdoors, hope you had your sunscreen on, nice and warm, no doubt about that. And we'd love to hear from you, love to have your support here in our last hour, especially when Metroland Media has hopped up to the plate and swings for the fence with a $10,000 miracle match. We'd like everyone to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity before the telethon ends in about 55 minutes. So we're into the home stretch. How's it going, Doctor? You're looking good. We have a fabulous crew of volunteers on the telephone. They've all got wonderful reasons to be here. Many come back year after year after year. Some have been here since the very beginning, some 34 years ago, and are still participating and helping to raise money for their beloved Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Halfway through a $10,000 Metroland Media Miracle Match. How are we doing here? I think we're doing pretty good. Everybody's working hard. Sylvain is on the phone right now. $200 pledge. Sylvain, thank you, sir. $200. That means $400 going to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. 1 minute and 5 seconds. Metroland Media, $10,000 miracle match. Your generous contribution goes a long way. Brenda's back again this year with a $20 pledge from Margaret in Canada. Thank you, Margaret. That means $40 goes to CHEO. Canada, Orleans, Russell, Plantagenet, Castleman, Cornwall, Brockville, Lynn, Tin Cap, Gananoque, all the way across towards Athens and Jasper. All of these wonderful communities are served by the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. CHEO is there for you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Let's make sure CHEO can be the best that there can be. With Metroland Media on board again this year and a $10,000 miracle match, I'd say we're in pretty good shape. Thank you for your generosity.
And we're in good shape because of community, and we're in good shape, Jabe, because of really great dads. And Lucy and Allie, are you pretty proud of your dads?
Yeah, very much.
Very much. Did you hear that? Very much, Derek and Ross, because you're the dads who are the brainchild behind Ski for Kids. Explain Ski for Kids, Derek, if you would.
Sure. Ski for Kids is a group of businesses from Ottawa that gather up in Mont Ste. Marie for a one-day event that we ski and have a race, and we're in our 27th year this past year, so it keeps growing, and a large portion of our proceeds obviously to CHEO.
A lot of relationships formed, and then of course you had your own kids, and your kids have been at CHEO. But express, if you would, Ross, the gratitude that the dads and the organizers feel for our hospital.
Well, I'll say this, from a family standpoint, my father was actually chair of this committee a long time ago, going back probably 15 years, so I just picked up the baton and ran with it.
Thank you for picking up the baton, thank you for picking up the ski poles, and thank you for picking up the check. Is it heavy, girls? Ready to flip it over?
Yes.
Do you know the numbers on it? Are you going to read it for us as
Yes.
well? Okay, let's do that. Oh, I'll help you. That's fantastic. Lucy and Allie, how much money did Ski for Kids raise?
We have 165,000.
You sure do have 165,000. You made me jump. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Graham,
Great.
165,000.
Great event for the dads. Good skiers over there. Great to see you guys. $165,000 for another
That is awesome.
fantastic,
Just awesome.
fantastic year for that event. You've talked about sort of how this weekend and how this event can change the hospital in a positive way and in a direct way. One of the things that we don't see is some of the older parts of the hospital that need to be updated. You had mentioned ophthalmology as an example.
Well, we were just looking at some of the really leading edge. We have some of the best pediatric ophthalmologists in Canada, but they're working in a really old building. Our building's built in 1974, and the ophthalmology clinic has not been renovated since then. And really, we need to do it, and we need to do it so that we can actually see more patients, because every day matters in the life of a child. And so what we want to do is rebuild the ophthalmology clinic, because it'll allow us, by having more space, better space, and be able to hire an additional ophthalmologist, that we'll be able to cut wait times and bring more kids through. And if you think about it, seeing properly isn't just a health issue. It's about how well a child does at school and how they fit in with their friends and
confidence levels, everything,
and development and child development. And so it's a really important project for us. We're $300,000 short on that. We've put it together. We're $300,000 short on the rebuild of our ophthalmology clinic. And so we're really counting on this hour of the telethon to be able to deliver and help us rebuild our ophthalmology clinic, which isn't just about a building. It's about cutting wait times, faster access, and getting more kids in to get the care they need.
And on cue, of course, we are in the 6 o'clock hour. Our great viewership at CTV Ottawa is stepping up. I can hear them as we speak. If you've had a great weekend out and haven't watched us and you're just tuning in now, we really need your support and we need your help. So give us a call. There's still lots of time left, about 45 minutes left before our final numbers. And we wanted to go back to Leanne. And we are looking at another check that is another contribution to this fantastic weekend for CHEO. Leanne.
Graham, this check is a beautiful thing. I'm really, really happy to introduce you to Nick Martin and Pietro Baracci, who are here. Well, guess which bank? They're wearing TD green, and they're wearing it with pride. And I think you may have some TD friends here.
Yes, Nick Martin, how are you?
Those aren't people you owe money, are they?
Oh, yes, my son.
So, Nick, tell us what TD has done in order to bring this beautiful check to us today.
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, we're very fortunate, and we feel very fortunate to have CHEO as part of our community. As a new dad and relatively new citizen of Ottawa, it's great to know that my son would have access to the highest standard in pediatric care.
And it's the heart of our community in so many ways, as you well know, Pietro, and it was for something minor but something meaningful.
Absolutely, and we're very proud to be here and very proud to be presenting a check based on contributions from customers, employees, for the amount of $420,000.
Let's check out that check, $420,000 plus. I am so glad that you brought a rooting section, and even if you hadn't, we would all be clapping our hands for TD. Thank you very much. That's 420,000 thank yous, Alex and Graham.
Fantastic. Wow. Another push towards that big number. That's an extraordinary number.
That's getting us closer for sure.
When you see that, I mean, you talked about the small numbers, but that's an extraordinary amount of number. The Ski for Dads, $165,000. Yeah. That's more than $500,000 in just a couple of moments here.
And it represents the efforts by hundreds and hundreds of people. And I think that's what, the CHEO staff and doctors who are watching, really the encouragement that they get from all this support and the work they do it's really something.
What is the best part of this weekend for you?
I think the best part for all of us on Team CHEO is hearing the stories of the families, hearing the impact, being reminded of how lives are changed every day, and how much support there is in the community for the work that happens at CHEO.
I think it's those stories that cut through, whether it's Jacobs or in other families.
They do.
And it's not that they're sad stories, because in many ways they're not. It's a perseverance. It's a connection to the place that everybody relates to, and that's why we need those phones to ring. So if you can give us a call, 613-738-1450. We're in the home stretch here, folks. We've had a wonderful weekend, and we are hoping to reach a new record. We remind people what we were at last year, just over
8 million. We broke 8 million.
8 million.
Yeah.
An extraordinary number. If you get even close to that, it would be another great weekend.
Absolutely. Although we're hoping to go over that, just to be clear. And
That's right.
We're counting on you. We're counting on people who are watching. The time is now, and the need is urgent. So please do call, do log on.
And we are actually going to do a check on the number after those two big checks, because it's going up, which is great. Let's see where we're at for the 2017 CHEO Telethon. A new number, $5.5 million, almost $5.6 million. The final stretch. Please keep calling. Send us your donations and add to that wonderful number. Over the years, we've met some very special children on this broadcast and at this hospital. And right now, we pause to remember them.
Rest now, those tired eyes. You've been through so much in such little time. Rest now, this is not goodbye. You'll see her again in the blink of an eye. And mama shouldn't have to bury their baby. And daddy shouldn't have such sorrow inside. Rest now, this is not goodbye. Rest now, this is not goodbye. Rest now, don't be afraid to cry. Your tears will get you through to the other side. Rest now. Ooh, rest. And mama shouldn't have to bury their babies. And daddy shouldn't have such sorrow inside. Rest now, this is not goodbye. Rest now, this is not goodbye. Tangled tie, tangled mess. Broken hearted, you do your best. Now get some rest. Mama shouldn't have to bury their babies. Oh, daddy shouldn't have such sorrow inside. Oh, oh, rest now. This is not goodbye. Rest now, This is not goodbye.
And it has been our honor to know them. And Anthony Taza is with us from Costco. Costco, such great supporters of the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario and right across the country of the Children's Miracle Network. You're back again this year.
Absolutely, we're happy to be here. It was a great campaign, 5 weeks of, call it a celebration. If anyone walked into a Costco during the CHEO campaign, we'd like to call it a celebration.
Exactly what it is. And a lot of people may not know that Costco, the company, matches all those contributions in the month of May.
We are happy to do it, and we love CHEO.
Fabulous. And not only that, you're sponsoring our next Miracle Match, and it's a good one too. Want to flip that over there, Anthony? We'll just see for how much? $25,000 Miracle Match. How good is that, Anthony? Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you being here. All right, folks, let's start that clock and get her rolling. I do have a special announcement to start this Miracle Match from Costco. Dave and Ann Trick of Perth are donating $10,000 to this Miracle Match and ask other grandparents to donate as well. How good is that? It's a great way to get this Miracle Match underway. Fabulous way. Thank you for your generosity. Let's do it. Let's raise some money for the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Let Costco help you by matching you dollar for dollar in this special 2 minutes and 19 seconds that we have left. Thank you in advance for your generosity. Thank you for your support over these many past years. Over 30 years we've been doing this telethon for a place that's deep in our hearts and we owe so much to. The Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. It's a special spot. And again this year, we've had the honor of featuring some very brave, very special children. And it has been our pleasure to tell those stories. Sometimes those stories are not easy to tell. And sometimes those situations are not easy to live. But CHEO is there for you every day, every hour, every minute. The doors are not closed at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. So if you can find it in your heart and in your wallet to make a contribution, we sure would appreciate it. And Costco will match you dollar for dollar up to $25,000 in this special Miracle Match. We had a very generous donation, $10,000. Nice people from Perth, and they're challenging other grandparents to make a donation. Doesn't have to be $10,000. Marvelous that it is $10,000. But even $50 becomes $100. $100 becomes $200. Norma always gets the good ones. There's $250 from Gino. Gino, thank you. It's fabulous. Of Canada, $250. So Gino, that's $500 going to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario because Costco is matching your $250. And that's wonderful. That's one of the reasons we call it a miracle match. Costco, they're going to be along with a big, big check. They always do from their May fundraiser. We'll feature that a little bit later on in the program. Thank you, Costco. Thank you for making a miracle happen right here at the EY Center this afternoon.
JJ, we have heard so many remarkable stories today and last night, and we've met so many remarkable families. On Friday, we met another superhero for CHEO, 16-month-old Everly. Everly has very compromised breathing, and in fact, her brain forgets to breathe. This is what happened when her parents came in to thank CHEO for its support when they were in our studio on Friday. is more than $8 million this year. It is great to be here with Jacqueline Vilcito of the CHEO Foundation and one of the CHEO superheroes, Miss Everly, with Mom Sarah and Dad Jordan Yelkowski. And you're in from Smiths Falls. Just to paint a picture for our viewers as to how tenuous Everly's health is, Sarah, this is the very first time you've ever taken her to downtown Ottawa.
Right.
Explain why.
Well, Everly has breath-holding spells, which require manual resuscitation. And as you can see, there's a lot of equipment that we have to bring along. The ventilator, ambu bag, oxygen, suction, things like that. So for us to be in a confined area downtown with a lot of traffic is a little nerve-wracking for us.
Well, everything is nerve-wracking for the two of you, I can tell, and we'll get a shot of everything with which you have to travel. You're 24/7, and we should say that many viewers will remember you from a story we featured when you actually needed help with funding, because the two of you and volunteers and friends in Smiths Falls were working around the clock with Everly, and you now do have some support. Is that correct?
We do, yes. We have full support.
And it's okay, Jordan. I gave Jordan the license that if Everly needed to squirm and move around, that is okay. She's welcome to do that. And Everly certainly is a daddy's girl. She hasn't really let you go from the time you arrived at the station.
No, she hasn't.
Describe this light, if you would, Jordan.
Well, she's full of personality. She gets her own way. Yeah.
Hey!
It's a bundle of joy, kid.
She actually is, and this is the first time she hasn't been smiling since she arrived here. But one of the elements that you said, Sarah briefed me just before we went live, and you said, if she has a spell, if we need to resuscitate her, we have to leave the set.
Right.
And so that is how you operate, and you can tell that...
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Dear God. And that's the reality every day for the Yelkowski family. They exactly know what to do, Jacqueline, because this is their life each and every day. The situation, as was described to me, is it's an autonomic condition. Yes. Essentially, Everly forgets to breathe, and that's why Mom and Dad are over there working to resuscitate her right now. Mom and Dad, Jordan and Sarah, are always on high alert, and to watch them was quite astounding. They, of course, instantly knew what to do. They resuscitated Everly, and then they came back on the set because Sarah wanted to make sure that she shared the message of what CHEO means to them each and every day. Here's Sarah. CHEO has been part of your life since she was a day old.
Yeah, and CHEO, sorry. CHEO has given us all the tools that we need to manage this at home. It's very rare, you know, and it's very difficult, but they gave us the confidence. You know, their family-centered care. It's not only Everly, it's Jordan and I. They held us up on days where we just felt like we couldn't go on anymore.
And that is why we are here, and that is why you are there doing your part for CHEO. To follow up, Everly was admitted to CHEO immediately after that episode. She was given antibiotics. She's rallied. She's home in Smiths Falls. So we send our love and our support to Sarah and Jordan and Everly and Graham. To live with that degree of tension each and every moment is so palpable for us to witness and to experience that live.
It's unbelievable, and that family, their story, and what they've had to go through.
I'm in awe of those parents. You know, they are inspiring people.
And you know, you do. I don't know if my child was facing that. I don't know if I'd have the wherewithal to do a live television interview.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't know if I'd have the wherewithal to fundraise for CHEO, and they're doing all of it. So we say hello to them tonight. We know they're watching. And that was pretty scary. But that's what it's
about.
We're here.
That's why it's about.
Right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to talk about the fact that there are more demands in the hospital than there have been in. It continues to grow.
Well, and every year. So every year there are 2,000 or 3,000 more visits to the emergency department than the previous year. You know, and if you think about many of those kids most of those kids, vast majority, will go home that same day. But some won't. And this coming week, there'll be a couple of families that come in because their child has a a tummy ache or a headache, something, a persistent problem, and they'll get a diagnosis of cancer in the emergency department that day. And it's not something any family can ever imagine. And we're lucky in Canada to have a universal healthcare system, that the doctors and nurses who will treat that family are standing by. But there's a lot of things that people who donate on this weekend at the telethon will help those families, because we need donors to buy the equipment like the MRI to do the diagnosis, donors to support the research that makes the care better. Donors help us keep the playrooms open for those kids. Molly Penny, who's here, donors help her be around to cheer up the kids and the child life specialist. So think of those families coming into the emergency department, not able to go home that night when they come in because they have this terrible news. You're going to help them.
We are, and you are. So please give us a call. There's still time. We wanted to check the board. We've got a new number after some great news from some of our partners. 2017 CHEO Telethon now at $5.6 million, $5,646,000. A long way to go, but we are getting there. And we're going to head back to Leanne Cusack after that incredible story for another great story of a great weekend, the CN cycle for CHEO. Leanne.
I tell you, Graham, a lot of emotion, emotional scares, lows, gratitude, and this is an absolute high. I have to say hi to Alex Plantier. You are here representing CN Cycle, and you're beaming. You walked through the door carrying this check, and I peeked at it, and it is quite something. Tell us about your day.
We had a good time.
Well, you complained about the weather a little bit. It was a cold day.
A little bit, but being in the federal capital, we know we can fix that for next year. So hopefully we'll have even more people, and maybe a bigger check next year. Well, we'll see.
You had a lot of people. You say thousands.
We had thousands of people, and they braved the weather, and the families were all together. It's not just the cycle, but it's everything around the day itself. So whether you're cycling or whether you just want to come and participate, you are more than welcome every year with your whole family involved.
And this is the largest cycling event in Ottawa, and this is the largest check I've seen for a cycling event in Ottawa. I think we should flip over the check. But first, I just need to know that everyone in studio and at home, that you are braced for this check. Are we good? Is everyone sitting down?
Don't bring expectations too high.
Oh, this expectation is high. You've brought along a check, Alex? Yes.
$978,319.
A beautiful thing, and the phones are ringing, and I'm squeezing you. And Graham, you were cycling in that event.
Yeah, Graham braved the weather.
Did you know? 900.
I knew it was a cold day. It was a great day. It was a great day.
$78,000. Isabella, what did you just ask me?
How much was that?
Almost $1 million. That's unbelievable. That was the CN cycle Daddy used to do before Daddy got cancer, and then life changes, and then here we are again, once again. So this is Mateo and Isabella. Both of them have had their experiences at CHEO. Isabella, what are we raising money for today?
CHEO.
And where does the money go?
To the machines and...
Doctors?
Yep.
And research? Yes. Oh, you're not going to be in broadcasting. You might find it. Anyways, it's our pleasure from our family to the CHEO family to present our check like we do every year. Flip it over, guys. It won't be as big as the CN Cycle CHEO check for $1,000. And Mateo, who's got the gift of gab like his father, would like to, you want to do something here?
Yeah, back to you, Graham.
Wow. Good stuff. You did that better than Dad. Eh? Huh? That's great. That's awesome to see, and it's great to see Stu back where he belongs, back on the air. Fantastic. Yes. So that's a nice little jump from CN Cycle. That was a fantastic event.
Yeah, that was a cold day.
It was a cold day.
Kudos to everybody who persevered.
We We had a great day, and it's for those people who cycle. It's a wonderful sort of unofficial kickoff to the cycling season. And yeah, the weather was challenging, but lots of people
we had snow
finished.
the next day,
We
right?
had snow the next day. It was about 4 degrees and raining. You earlier this weekend, if people didn't see it, talked about one particular day at CHEO and a range of patients. Just two or three of them.
Yeah, it was two, and it was
Two of them.
well, I saw many patients and families that day. It was a few weeks ago, but it was really for me a really striking moment because in the neonatal intensive care unit, chatting with a dad who was bottle feeding his little girl, and she had come in, as all infants there do, critically, seriously ill, tiny, and she was now, 5 or 6 pounds and was going to be going home soon, and there was just so much joy, expectation, and relief with that family. And earlier I'd been chatting with a teenage girl who, even a year ago was thinking about university, and unfortunately whose health has taken a turn for the seriously worse, and will be headed for palliative care and leaving the hospital to go home. And
Two very different stories.
Two very different stories, although I would say about that young woman that she has touched the lives and influenced so many people around her. That it is so sad that she won't be with us, but that she will live on in the hearts of so many people, and that even in that, one of the reasons I was meeting with her was she has ideas about how we can make care better at CHEO, and she was advocating for herself and for other kids who would follow her, and I find her an inspiring, a truly inspiring young woman, and it is, for me that day was, a reminder that it's triumph and it's tragedy, and it's both, and it matters so much, and that everything that we can do as a community to support those kids and those families is probably the most important thing we can do in life.
Please give us a call. You don't need any more reason other than that. It is one of the hardest childhood cancers to beat. And in 2-year-old Amelia DeVries, it showed up suddenly and it already spread to her tiny body. She would need aggressive treatment to even get it to the stage of being operable. Here's Timothy Walker with the story of this tiny fighter.
For Amelia DeVries, everything changed in 24 hours.
She never really had any health problems. She was happy, full of energy. And then one night, Brian went to put her in the bathtub and took off her shirt, and there was this lump, like a large lump, sticking out the side of her abdomen, and it seemingly showed up overnight.
They called a friend who worked at CHEO who advised them to rush their only child to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario.
She said, come right here, which is good.
This is what they found.
This is tumor, yeah, this whole tumor.
A massive tumor for a 2-year-old. After many tests, it was determined it was one of the most vicious childhood cancers, neuroblastoma.
The original tumor itself was 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters by 13 centimeters, which for a 2-year-old is basically her whole abdomen. Like, that's a big tumor. It had spread to her bones, her arms and her legs, I think her pelvis, her bone marrow, a few spots in the tissue near her spine.
While terrifying, doctors around the world in partnership with CHEO have made incredible advances in fighting this type of cancer.
The big advancement is we have this chimeric antibody therapy. So that it was a study that they originally did comparing chimeric antibody to a drug called retinoic acid. And they actually had to stop the study midway through because it increased the survival by 20%, which doesn't happen in cancer, in pediatric oncology, let alone oncology. So it's a huge advancement.
Previously, neuroblastoma had a survival rate of just 20 to 30%. Now it's about 70%. But it's still hard to defeat, and it's best to get it the first time around.
If neuroblastoma relapses, it's very, very challenging to treat, and it's very hard to treat with curative intent. There are some kids that will survive, have relapsed neuroblastoma, but it's really, really challenging.
They said in our meeting, if this had been 10, 15 years ago, we would be having a very different conversation.
But that means Amelia needs aggressive chemotherapy to reduce the size of the tumor, and then she will need a stem cell transplant. It's very hard for a 2-year-old. Really, really hard.
Wow, you're brave.
You want a sticker?
No.
It eats you up inside. You're tired.
Can we lay down for 1 second?
Can you slide back for a second?
No. Please?
Just for 2 seconds.
And now the chemotherapy is in, but so nerve-wracking for her parents, who know they need to see a difference in the size of the tumor to move to the next stage to save her. Remember, this was before. And this is the result.
This is the tumor after chemotherapy, more than 70% to 80% decrease in the size.
Well, that's good news. It means now surgeons will need to remove the huge tumor, and that's going to be difficult as it's so invasive.
We are at the point where we feel it's safe to go ahead and do an incision in the abdomen and hopefully take out the tumor completely without, of course, injuring other organs in the abdomen. So we have to be very careful today in taking it out without injuring other structures.
The tumor is close to her kidneys, spleen, stomach, and pancreas.
We'll take good care of her, I promise.
The surgery takes about 3 hours, and they get almost all of the tumor. The rest of it is too close to organs and will have to be killed with chemotherapy. Just a week later, and Amelia is home and playing with her dog and her cat.
Who wants some more?
Me. You! Except for the still required feeding tube, life looks pretty normal in this country home just outside of Ottawa. But Amelia's parents know the battle is not over. Soon, Amelia will need a stem cell transplant. Another ordeal.
You have to think positive, and even in the hard times, you have to stay positive and get through it. It's still going to be a long road after this, but this will be another step in their journey.
Tiger? I think it's safe to say that the reason why, they're clapping for you. The reason why we're all here today is for kids like Amelia. She's had a bit of a setback and went to go get her stem cell transplant. Could you tell us what happened?
She had a not so nice reaction to one of the types of chemo that she got in preparation for the stem cell transplant.
Mm-hmm.
It was difficult. It was, she ended up with burns on most of her body, just as a reaction of the chemo leaving her body. We had a lot of teams involved and a lot of difficult days, but we got through it, and she's doing great now.
So what are the next steps? Because we've had to wait now for her to heal. She still has a few little burns on her head, and now the next step would be to try with another kind of chemo?
Yes, so we just got home on Friday, and we have a few weeks at home to recover, and then we'll head back down at the beginning of July to try her second stem cell transplant, and they'll use 3 different types of chemo for that one, different ones than the first one. Hopefully she'll react better to those. I mean, any amount of high dose chemo is difficult, I think, but hopefully she'll have regular reactions and not this exceptional one that she had.
We weren't even sure that she was going to be able to be here today, right? Because
Yes.
she was having a pretty tough time, and with this now, I know you're going to Toronto because that's where the stem cell transplants are done, but back in the arms of CHEO. I know the video was hard for you to watch. How are you both coping right now?
Pretty good. It's tough, but it's good to be home.
Yeah, we're taking it day by day, and
This one is she gets us through it. It's unbelievable, and she inspires us just to keep going every day. So we take it one day at a time and we get through it.
If she can, you can.
Yes, if she can, we can, exactly.
What is the most difficult thing for Amelia right now? Is it the fatigue? Is it pain?
I think really it's just the uncertainty. She's got no routine. She's put into different positions all the time. She's always having different procedures done. So it's difficult for her to adjust. She's pretty skeptical when we go into new places, but...
Well, I know you said that you thought that, she might think that I might try and poke her, or, access a port or something like that, because, everybody's always coming at her with something that's uncomfortable.
Yes, exactly.
This is a very painful period for you. Why did you decide to share your story with CHEO, or with the audience of CHEO?
I think it's a difficult thing for us to go through. It's a difficult thing for us to talk about. But if it can inspire anybody to support CHEO, I can't tell you how grateful we are to have this amazing place so close to home. We're 45 minutes away. It's just CHEO and everybody involved with CHEO has just done so much to change our lives. They're giving her a chance at life that she wouldn't have had. And I can't imagine where we'd be if we didn't come into emergency that night.
Mm-hmm. We thank you very much for sharing your story. And for everybody here, we wish you the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Amazing story. Fighters.
Absolutely.
We have Shannon Gorman here and company from TELUS. And where would we be without TELUS? This is fabulous. You've got plans to keep on fundraising forever and ever.
Absolutely. We love the great work that CHEO does, and we're inspired and proud to be here and be a part of today.
It's great to have you all here, and you're sponsoring our next miracle match. For how much, he asked as they turned the check over? $10,000. Thank you, ladies. Appreciate a $10,000 miracle match for Amelia and all the special children that go through the doors of the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. We invite you to make a contribution right now. It's a $10,000 miracle match, less than 15 minutes until we're done. The 34th edition of the CHEO Telethon. And it has been, so far, wonderful as far as fundraising is concerned. We'd like to keep that going right up until 7 o'clock tonight. And right now, TELUS will match your generous donation with up to $10,000 in the next 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. We're delighted that you're watching. Even more delighted that you're giving and participating. A $10,000 miracle match. Ralph's got a pledge here for $25. That's great. That's $50 now going to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. There's a $100 pledge. Wow, that's great. That's $200 for CHEO. Because TELUS is matching you dollar for dollar up to $10,000. I'd love to be able to interview some of our phone volunteers, but I have great news. They're all far too busy to talk to me. They're too busy answering the phones, every one of them. Call us. Join our team. It's an important thing to do. It's probably going to be the most important thing you do today. And during this $10,000 TELUS Miracle Match, it is the right time to call and support the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. Lisa just took a pledge from Patricia, and that's a $100 pledge. Way to go, Lisa. Phone's ringing again. That's great. You hang up, process, get another call. That's the excitement of a miracle match. It's also one of the reasons that we're able to raise a whole lot of money for a place that is so special to us, so special for our children. that we come out once a year and ask you to join our team and support the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. We're so lucky to have TELUS and other wonderful corporate sponsors making these kinds of contributions so that we can do miracle matches and raise a whole lot of money. Phones are ringing left, right, and center. TELUS, thank you so much for your generosity again this year. We really appreciate it. Thank you for making a miracle happen right here this evening at the EY Center.
Between 6 and 7 o'clock on Telethon weekend, you can tell that you can guarantee the phones will be ringing and JJ Clark will be talking, and we'll be watching the tote board for numbers. When you see Amelia's story, when you see the other stories, Alex, what goes through your mind?
Well, you know, Amelia and Everly, two little babies, two sets of parents who have just such unbelievable courage and bravery. And, you know, whenever I get down or tired, and I just think about what those families are dealing with, and how we all of us have an opportunity to try to help and make a difference for them.
Help in a small way. There are big things that can be done with your small help. We've got a new number. Heading into the 7 o'clock hour, we are over 6.5 million, $6.6 million, $6,690,000 for the 2017 CHEO Telethon. We've still got time left. Give us a call, 613-738-1450. There is still time. JJ Clark.
Thank you very much, Graham. Pietro Baracci is with us. You were just here a few minutes ago.
We were to present a check for over $420,000.
And here you are again, and TD is going to sponsor our next miracle match.
You got that right.
Fabulous. Turn that over.
We're very proud to present $10,000 miracle match.
Pietro, thank you so much for your generosity. TD, fabulous spot. Here we go. This, by the way, is our last miracle match. There will be no more miracle matches after this. We're wrapping it up. We have to be off the air at 7 o'clock. And that means that history will be made as our 34th CHEO Telethon goes into the books. We thank you for your generosity, the generosity of TD Bank, who, as Pietro mentioned, gave us almost $500,000 just about a half an hour ago, and here they are back with another $10,000 to sponsor our final miracle match of the 2017 CHEO Telethon. And I'll tell you how good TD are. TD employees are fantastic. As a company, they're fantastic. And they're pretty great as a bank, too, because you're going to get a 100% return on your investment. So $25 magically becomes $50. That's a 100% return. But it only happens in the next 1 minute and 42 seconds. So please call and be as generous as you can for Amelia and the other children that you had a chance to meet over the last 24 hours, and the children that will need CHEO at some point. CHEO's a magical place. Wonderful things happen there. The care is outstanding. It has to be. It's for our kids. It's for our grandchildren, our nieces, our nephews, your next door neighbor's child. TD Bank, a $10,000 miracle match. Miss Michelle's got a $50 pledge there from Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. That $50 is $100. There's a $40 pledge. Ralph is working on that one. That's $80 going to the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario because you were good enough to call during this miracle match. And it's a great idea to just keep the phones going right up until 7 o'clock because that's about 6 minutes from now. So call us during the miracle match, the TD $10,000 miracle match. By all means, call. And thank you for your generosity. The number is 613-738-1450. That's 738-1450. And TD Bank, those great people, will match your donation up to $10,000. TD Bank, thank you. Thank you for calling in and making a miracle happen here this evening.
Jay, we have a unique situation. Well, the background is every time I see Anthony Taza, I kind of get palpitations, not just because he's such a snappy dresser, but because he represents Costco. And typically at this time, we have a huge group of Costco employees surrounding us.
They're making their way down. They're coming.
Please join us, Costco team members. It's wonderful to have Benoit Louis XVI here for the very first time. The reason this is particularly unique is typically I have a card and I know the amount that has been raised. These gentlemen said, you're not to look. Who knows the total on this check?
Couple of us. It's been top secret.
You didn't want to have anyone in the building write out the total. And this money that we're not allowed to see as of yet, this total, was raised by whom?
This is from our generous members and our amazing employees approaching our members. If you guys, anyone that walks into a Costco during our 5-week campaign can see it's a celebration. We couldn't do it without our members. We're Costco, but we are the fathers, the mothers, the brothers, and the sisters of CHEO. So CHEO is a part of our culture. We've been around since the beginning, and we'll be here for many years to come.
Okay, we want a big hug from these Costco members. Come on in close, because you don't know what's on the check, do you?
No, we have no idea. I don't kept a secret from us, and
I don't know what's on the check, but we're ready for you to know what's on the check. And Alex Munter is on the edge of his seat. Graham Richardson on the edge of his seat. Let's flip over that check, Anthony, and you tell us what Costco has. Is a beautiful thing. Say the number. Say that secret number.
We're happy to offer CHEO with $2,034,000. $2,034,220.
This is so phenomenal. We want to thank you more than 2 million times from the bottom of our hearts. And you have the best cheer ever.
Thank you very much.
I want to hear you in Costco doing that. Graham,
That's
Alex?
Incredible.
Oh,
That's incredible.
This is
speechless.
It's okay if you mix up that number because it's so big. We've got the clients of CHEO here. We've got our friends, and everybody is stunned and thrilled. And that is not just that is Costco customers. That's the generosity of people here.
That's tens of thousands of people from our community shopping at Costco and going that extra mile. And it's just unbelievable to me. I mean, this is such a huge and generous contribution.
$2 million from just one spot, Costco. That is some incredible news for us as we get set for the final
it means
reveal.
We will have a record.
We're going to have a record. You're breaking news already.
Well, you know, I can see
we're going to have a record today, and we are surrounded by people who have been involved in this telethon all day, and there is the final number. $8.7 million. $8.7 million. Thank you, Ottawa. Thank you, Gatineau. Thank you, Seaway Valley. A new record. How about that?
That is a new record. What do you say?
What a wonderful weekend. Thank you all for contributing.
A lot of this is you.
Hearts are waiting for someone to understand, waiting for someone to lend a hand.